It's a beautiful day, ladies and gentlemen out there. My name is Alpha. With me right about now, I got the assistant coach of the Uganda U19 men's on What's Up Hope Square Cut. This is where we bring you different personalities who will be able to give you all uplifting and inspirational messages. Some of you think about this, that how did that person make it? Ladies and gentlemen, we got all the information right about now. Help me welcome the assistant coach of the Uganda U19 men's team, Robinson Turinawe. Welcome to the Towards Up Hope Square Cut seat.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, Robinson, how has been your morning?
Morning has been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how is the family?
Our family is good.
All right, Robinson, welcome
Yes.
back from Tanzania.
Thank you. Thank you.
How was Tanzania? Briefly tell us what really happened in Tanzania. What went right? What didn't go well? You know, the viewers out there would like to know what really happened in Tanzania.
Well, in Tanzania, the wicket, ladies and gentlemen, the wicket was very tricky.
Yeah.
Everybody thought it was the best, but it was actually not fitting the situation. Secondly, the weather was not exactly as what we thought it would be. Because when we reached there, we were expecting hot sun, so we were prepared for hot sun. We didn't get the hot sun.
Yeah.
So we found something else, rain, and then a calm, mild weather. That's what we found.
Okay. But now you know nowadays there is this thing people say that in Uganda they say they call it okwekwasa.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't you think some people think that you might have had that thing in you that the wickets are bad? So I think that is why we are playing badly. Because how come we managed to see Team Namibia scoring over 100 runs when they were told to bat fast, or like when they won the toss, or anyone told them to bat fast, they were able to score more than 100 runs?
Well, I'll not attribute to the weather or to the wicket or whatever it is. We were ready and prepared because when we went to India, we found much more wild weather and more hot and more uncomfortable weather.
Yeah.
With full of snakes and so many other stuffs that we met.
Yeah.
So to me, I thought it's basically our mindset, especially the mindset of the boys.
Wait a bit. What do you mean by full of snakes?
I myself encountered a snake.
Okay.
A huge one with one of the players, Ochem Peter.
Yes.
He happened to spot the snake, and it was coming for us. Actually, we were the first group of people to come onto the ground in the morning.
Yeah.
So coming to the ground in the morning, we saw a huge snake, I think the size of a pipe.
The size of the pipe, like how big? How big would the snake have been?
Well, I think it's the size of that pipe over there.
Wow.
It was quite long and lengthy, so we thought it was a python, so we had to take off our dear lives.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Our viewers would like you to subscribe to our channel, What's Up Hope Square Cut Sit. And then would like also to like, those who are liking, please like our channel, What's Up Hope Square Cut Sit. And then also comment on What's Up Hope Square Cut Sit. So Robinson,
yes,
I would like you to give us that scenario, how you were feeling during that time when you were playing against Sierra Leone. What was happening into the dressing room at that time when, for Sierra Leone to take over that?
That I will explain to you.
Yeah.
And in detail. We had just been beaten by Kenya the previous day.
All right.
So I, for one, I went with a few of the boys to the beach, just because the beach was a walking distance, about half a kilometer.
Good.
So we went to the beach, and I tried to engage the boys to ask them what exactly happened. So I tried to soothe them in such a way that we are prepared for the next game, hoping that Nigeria will beat Namibia.
Yeah.
That was the hope we had. So we said, let's go for Sierra Leone with one heart, and hoping that if Namibia falls into the hands of Nigeria, whom we thought was a better bowling opponent, we knew that we had a chance to get into the World Cup.
Yeah.
However, it was not the case the next day.
Because remember, Sierra Leone was put like one of the underdogs,
Yeah.
and coming out to get a win from Uganda.
Yeah. after being wounded, I felt we were a bit more timid. We were a bit more cautious. We were fearing to fail. Normally in cricket we call it fearing to fail. And in many sports, most people fear to fail. That situation only comes in when you've been hit by a minnow, especially Kenya. Kenya were minnows to us. We take them as rivals, but from the way we played them, we are the ones who made the mistakes, and they capitalized on the mistakes we made. So Sierra Leone coming into the game, they had nothing to lose. For us, we were fearing to fail. So the two attitudes came into collision. And the winner was the person who had nothing to lose. That was Sierra Leone. We made our mistakes. We dropped our catches. And we had to pay for it.
Because for us who are at home here, we're watching Sierra Leone chasing the runs comfortably. That's where it reached 10 overs. They had 40 runs for no loss. We said, oh, these guys are coming for this. You get it? Actually, I think it was either 10 overs or less than 10 overs, and they were 40 runs for no loss, and they were coming in chasing the runs comfortably. And yet, when Uganda was in there, somehow things was seeing like they were fighting with the wicket. And at that time, I would like to know the two coaches, what was really happening, for the viewers out there to know.
Actually, in that moment of the heat, we had a good start. The openers gave us a very good start. When the first wicket fell, we briefly tasked the captain who came in, I think, threw down, and Ochaya, I think, who came before him, to take us home, just to play and dig deep into the game, hoping that we don't lose many wickets. So we thought maybe 170 would be a defendable score from that wicket, which I knew it was. But unfortunately, when you put up a big score and come into fielding, which is our stronghold, and I being the fielding coach, we give out chances of such a kind. We have to pay the price, definitely.
I'm trying to imagine what was really happening with you that side and how the temper was. But all in all, what I would like to say, there are so many people out there who really want to put on the Uganda Cricket Association. So many people want to put it on. So Robinson, we would like you to tell us more about yourself. Who is Robinson Turinawe?
I'm a child of God. That's the first thing. And I love it when I don't take titles, but I love it when I see talent grow. It's been my passion since I was a player, and when I got into coaching, it became a better passion. So I'm simply a down-to-earth person. Many of my players like me. I've worked with many youngsters that have risen the ranks to international and also local cricket. So that's me.
Okay, because some people would like to know, where did Coach Robinson? Because most of the people here call you Coach Robinson, Coach Robbie, Coach. We have most of the people calling you Coach Robbie, Coach Robinson. So some of the viewers out there, the youngsters out there, they would really want to know. And what schools did Coach Robinson pass through to get where he is?
The schools I went to were different. I started my schooling life in Nairobi, in a place called St. Hannah's Nursery Primary School. I finished my nursery. I did half of my primary, actually most of my primary, in a school called St. Nicholas, which was an international school then, with my brothers and sisters. Then I came later on when my father had settled in Uganda, in a school called Uganda U19 Primary School. I think most of you know it is in the middle of town. So my secondary was...
So hobbies of Uganda Road Primary School, Coach Robinson is here,
indeed. All my hobbies know me in my year. My secondary school was very straight. Studied 1 to 6 in Busoga College, Mwiri. That's where I learned my cricket. And that's where I advanced my sports life. So that's why I studied. Then I went to university. I went to Kumba University. That's why I finished my university.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So my playing life, I started playing for under 19. I think we're the first under 19.
Yeah.
Way back in 1997. Yeah. Then when I joined the national team ranks in about 2000, I was encountered with an injury and it was heartbreaking. I broke my knee bone.
Oh,
I transferred blood in the joint.
Yeah.
So I was out for 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to spend 5 of my years recovering on a walking stick.
Yeah, because I remember way back in early 2000s when we were in school, we used to see a lot at Makerere College. So at one point, most of us thought that you were in Makerere College. You studied from Makerere College. What was with you in Makerere College? What did you really like in Makerere College? Yeah.
Well, in Makerere College, I was a coach.
Ah, okay.
And I was an intern teacher.
Oh. Okay.
So I was teaching at the A levels especially, and I was their cricket coach. So that is how they were paying me. They were paying me both as a teacher and a coach. They could not pay specialized coach then because Makerere College did not have that capacity to pay a coach fully. So you have to do something else that revolves around your books. Yeah. So I'm glad I studied.
So, ladies and gentlemen out there, you are on Words of Hope Square Cut Seat. Subscribe Words of Hope Square Cut Seat, like, comment. We are all waiting for all your comments on your #1 YouTube channel. That's Words of Hope Square Cut. So, Coach Robinson, and I remember there is a time I saw you at Makerere College. We were seated on, actually we were going for lunch, yeah? And then you had a bat. There is that bat you had. I don't know, it was flat like this. And you are always holding that bat. What was so unique with that bat? Yeah.
That bat was a gift.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
That bat was a gift. I happened to play with some of the good players from Kenya. So I don't remember who exactly gave it, but it was a gift.
Yeah.
And with that bat, I treasured it. It was one of the most important personal bats I've ever had. So, when I was there in national team, I was the fast bowler. So most of the time, those days, youngsters were not able to have kit like today.
Yes. And I remember that.
Yeah, we used to come, roll the mat. We were the ones who used to carry. By then there was no grass wicket, like as you can see behind.
And remember those days there were those bats called vampires and then granicles. You remember?
Yes.
Yeah.
This one was a vampire.
You see, I thought yes. Yeah. And I wanted you to bring it out because I had seen it. Yeah. That bat. I'd always wanted to be a batsman. Yes.
Because I admired Brian Lara. And I'd never seen a left-handed batsman bat as fluently and efficiently like him. So during that time, seeing Brian Lara of West Indies, I felt I could be an all-rounder. And besides then, before I joined the university, I encountered a gentleman who had come on a scouting mission. He stays in a place called Wolverhampton. Having been in vacation, I met this gentleman and he came by to watch us bowling, and I was at the peak of my fast bowling career. I remember the man saying, I think this guy can be developed to the best.
Yes.
And for some reason, that's when I got the injury during that time. I was supposed to have gone and studied in Wolverhampton, because I had already been admitted to the University of Wolverhampton.
Yes.
And I was going to do a course called animation in multimedia studies. I was one of the few internationals called, and on a sports scholarship I was already given.
Yes.
So during that time I went, and that's when I got that knee injury that cast me out. So I believe it was part of God's plan.
So that means you didn't go? So
I didn't go.
That's how your scholarship ended? It
ended that way. I had to, it was a sudden. If I had gone, probably I would never have played for this nation. And I would never be in Uganda today.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are still on Words of Hope Square Cut 6. Those out there would like you to subscribe on Words of Hope Square Cut 6, like our page, and then at the same time comment on your number one TV channel. So Robinson,
Yes.
I've always been following you and seeing what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah. And okay, we are now going into family stuff.
Yes.
Okay, away from a bit of that cricket a bit. How did you meet your wife?
Jen, I know you're watching this somewhere. Please don't take it personal. I have to tell the whole world how I met you.
Because you really loved your wife. Whenever we have a conversation with you,
Yes.
because at times you tell me at times you can be putting on your jerseys, everything, you know. And I remember those days when we used to. Remember when we used to travel for cricket, like in Ginger. You were always going with your wife. You know, we would see a lady with you, not knowing that this is going to be your wife. So you get it. So please tell the whole world on how you.
Well, this is how I met Jen.
Yeah.
It is a pleasure. The Bible says that a man can have all the inheritance,
Yes.
but the Bible says only a wife, a prudent, understanding wife, is a gift from God.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's how I got her. And she was a law student at LDC.
Wow. Okay.
And I was coaching cricket in Aga Khan. I had moved from Makerere College, I had moved on, and Aga Khan was employing me at that time.
Yes.
So I was being paid at Aga Khan and paid well. I was being paid per hour. So during that time when I was in Makerere Full Gospel Church.
Wow.
And so during that time when I was at church, I was there playing some instruments, and I see a girl coming in, and I said, wow, who is this?
Okay.
So I took some interest, followed her up.
Jen, let's hope you're listening. You're listening and watching. Eh? You're watching, listening to this. Okay.
Yes. So I took some interest, followed her up.
Yeah.
Though we were friends, we continued being friends.
Yeah.
So I would walk her from. By then I was staying in Nankulabe.
Yeah.
So I would walk her from Nankulabe to Nsambia, not sitting in a taxi, just walking every day to just walk her home and as friends.
Okay.
So I discovered there was something so different about this girl that is not very common among, because she was a Christian, yes.
Yeah.
There are many Christian girls who are
And I know
beautiful.
you with Christianity. Okay.
And I saw something different, because I personally am a fan of someone who looks deep into the heart.
Yeah.
What is inside the heart of someone? If someone may put on makeup, may dress up well, but what's inside the heart is important, because it will last long. What is compatible with you? That's what you look for when you're looking for it. What is compatible? No one is perfect. We always keep working to a greater marriage.
Yeah.
So it is when I took a step and I felt this is my time. I think I've been single for a long time, and if I waste time, someone else will take her.
Yeah.
So we started dating on March 19, 2006, Thursday. I had to tell everybody. Every girl that I knew was my friend. I told her, look, I'm sorry, we'll remain friends, but I found someone that I'll go with as a wife. Of course, it won't go well initially, but it will go well after. So we got married.
Yes.
A short while later, did an introduction, got married in church, and then we had our first boy. That
Jerry.
young man called Jerry, as you are.
My namesake, Jerry.
Yeah, so he's coming through the ranks. He's also a young cricketer.
Yeah.
And I'm whenever I see him, I always remember the happiness that I've had with my wife during those moments. He's a source of happiness to us. Yeah. We also have a girl called Rafina.
Oh, Rafina. Oh, Rafina.
She's a beautiful being.
Yeah.
We love her as well. So we don't take sides. We love our children so much. So now their responsibility. And yeah.
Well, you can see now you are a responsible man.
Indeed,
a responsible citizen.
Indeed.
A responsible citizen.
Indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are on Words of Hope Square Cut 6. Subscribe on Square Cut 6. And subscribe, like, comment. So, Robinson.
Yes.
I believe whenever you leave home, she is the person who always gives you a go-ahead. Jen out there, Jen. You get it?
Yes.
So how did she feel that moment when the last time when you qualified with the under-19 men for World Cup in Kigali? Briefly tell us. Because we believe she had it, she called you, she got her phone, and then she talked to you when you were in Kigali.
Incidentally, she didn't call me at that time.
Ah, okay. Oh, it's you called.
No, she's reserved. She didn't call me.
Yeah.
What she did was to wait for me at home.
Wow.
To give me a proper welcome.
Yeah.
Any married person understands the welcoming that is given to you when you go back from the tournament.
Do you mind knowing? Okay, let's leave that. Okay, let's leave that. Okay. So what went through, that time when you went with the team to Kigali?
Yes.
You qualified. So tell us, like, which was the hardest game for you guys to qualify during that time? And then, because we believe there was a hard game that you guys encountered, and then there were, and then let's hope there weren't these things of wickets being, not being, well for you guys to be playing on.
Well, to us the first game was the most challenging. Reason being, we played Namibia.
Yes.
And we wanted to field first, knowing that the wicket is new to the boys.
Alright.
And then the weather was humid.
Yes.
It was actually not the way it was here.
Yeah.
Here it was hot, the air was cold. The other side it was little sunshine, but a lot of heat.
Yeah.
The wind was hot. So when we played Namibia, they saw the wicket and it looked like it was not going to yield a lot of results. It was a growing wicket.
Yeah.
So we opted to bat first.
Which ground was that?
Chichuchiro IPRC.
Oh, okay.
To me, that was the most turning moment for us because even after that game, the boys cried.
Oh, I know. I can
after
feel
preparing,
I can feel that,
after preparing the training for about 4 months, the boys cried. But I told them one thing: do you believe there are miracles? And a miracle can happen. And
you're a man of God.
Everybody was quiet for a while. So the next day I sat with the head coach, Ivan Tawitamure. We sat down to cultivate a plan on the next opponent. So I asked him and said, why don't we bat first this time? Like we had batted first the day before. And this time amass more runs.
Okay.
And get the opponent out for less runs.
Yes.
This might affect our run rate one way or another. So it's not about the wickets, it's about the runs. So he took the idea. So we changed a little bit in our batting setup. Kakuru had come in at number 7, we brought him at number 4. And he was the only centurion in that tournament. He scored a century. So he scored 113, and he stayed on for 40 overs. They built a good partnership, and we had the highest amount of runs in under 19 in the last few years. Scored 324 for 6.
Against Namibia?
Against Rwanda.
Okay.
So Namibia on the other side lost to Tanzania the next day. So it brought a lot of hope in us. So when we played Nigeria, we also made sure we score above 200 to keep our run rate up. So when we kept our run rate up, the Namibians realized that the run rate they needed in order to come to the World Cup were going to be hard. So when we met Tanzania, this was the life-changing moment. We went back to the ground where we had first lost. And this time we're playing on a different wicket, and a wicket which had never been played on before. So I called the boys, I called the captain and recall, and some of the senior players.
Yeah.
And I spoke to them and I told them, let us feel fast. From the statistics I've gotten from the analysts, let's get these guys all out. 100. Okay. Below 100.
Yeah.
And chase these runs in less than 10 overs. And they saw it as a good idea.
Yeah.
So Pasco, being the captain, understood, and I think they had thought about it. Because they'd had a team meeting, they'd had a different team meeting with the players,
yes,
with these fellow players. So we did exactly that, 51 all out.
I think it's necessary at time for the captain also to have a different team.
When we had 51 all out and then we chased it in 10 overs, everybody was happy because Namibia needed 400 runs. And by then they had scored 200 and Nigeria was batting first and scored 220 runs.
Whoa.
So it like sank their hopes and we knew it, we were there. So we were happy that at least we achieved. And being my first campaign, I felt for the first time I'm satisfied. Something has been done. Something has been done, and we broke a deadlock for 15 years, having not qualified for the World Cup. So we were always getting near to the margin and not going through. This time we went through convincingly. And back home, we gave the fans because it was a COVID time, we gave them hope, and we believe that in West Indies would give greater hope. So to me, that was my best achievement, and even much more than the World Cup, because achieving that, going to the World Cup, I felt now for the first time in my life, I have achieved the national dream, even much better than that which I was when I was a player. So as a coach, I felt, I was satisfied for the first time in my life.
Wow. Those watching What's Up Box Square Cards, please subscribe, comment, like our page. We are still with Coach Robinson. Coach Robinson.
Yes.
That is something good to remember. I believe it's that thing that is in your archive. Having qualified for the World Cup, and then now briefly tell us about the World Cup, whatever happened in the World Cup. Just briefly, so that the youngsters out there can get to know the feel you experience when you are into World Cup, so that they can work harder to be in the World Cup. Just give them briefly the feel that is there, the kind of people you meet, the networks you make.
Well, that World Cup was a unique World Cup. Reason being that during that time it was COVID procedures.
And which country was that?
West Indies.
Okay.
We first of all faced a challenge here. We had to bubble for about 35 days.
Wow.
I had stayed away from my family from November.
Yes.
Because we had a bubble. Then from there we went to Ginger to bubble again. We hike up with the team. Then we went to another bubble again. So
you were tired of bubbles.
Then I think this was a life breaker in my life. Because I sat down and I said, when we came back from a brief Christmas holiday, we had to go back to the hotel where we had bubbled, and they had to check us right at the pavilion. I came into contact with someone who had COVID, where we conversed, and before I knew it, I was positive.
Wow.
And
I'm imagining what went into your head right
now.
You thought you were going to miss out traveling with the team,
Well, it wouldn't be that much. But honestly speaking, I didn't want that to go through me. I'd never gotten COVID my entire life. So for the first time I'm feeling something like COVID. I've been hearing people dying of COVID. So I spent 2-3 days in isolation. I used to eat the meals alone. I used to stay in the room alone. The only person who came to see me was the physio and to give me the medications. So after 3 days, we were brought out to go back to Molago, to the national referral. We had go to the Molago to the testing site. to me, it was my heartbreaking moment.
Yeah.
We had COVID with another gentleman called, another player called Akram Sobuka. And we were put in front, we were isolated from the boys who were seated behind us. So when we reached there, because I'd done some exercises, I'd done some jogging alone. When the boys were in the room, I used to jog alone. Eating my food, I would eat alone. So doing some exercises helped me to recover from COVID quickly. My counterpart in Sobuga did not recover fully because when we were being tested, we were the first ones to go into the test. So it so happens that fortune did not favor him and Munir. They got positive and I was negative. And when I was negative, it was good news for me. So I now learned that I have to take care of myself. And social distancing. So everything I had to do even while we went was a little bit hard. The other factor was life-changing. Was all the flights that were coming into Uganda going to Dubai, because we were supposed to go through Dubai at that time. It was tough for us. Very, very tough. Dubai locked all flights coming from Uganda. So the association found it challenging to get flights for us. So our flight was booked in the last minute. So we had to fly all the way to Netherlands. We had to fly all the way to Netherlands to Amsterdam. So we flew for 10 hours, 30 minutes aboard KLM. And again, we had to fly for another 10 hours, 45 minutes to Barbados and waited for another 1 hour. Then we had to spend another 2 hours from Barbados to Trinidad. And then we waited for another transit time of 1 hour or 2 hours. Then we had to fly for another 1.5 hours to Guyana.
Was that a lot of jet lag?
Yeah, indeed. We spent 36 hours. I remember the physio collapsed in Trinidad. She totally collapsed and they had to carry her away from us. So we left her in Trinidad. I remember the TM asking me when we reached in Guyana, and where's your partner? My partner was a physio. So I had no answer and I said she was left behind. So we went into a 5-day quarantine. So we spent 50 days almost in quarantine total. So now I had to cultivate. I changed my training plan because the team asked me, do you have fitness training plan for Guyana? Because Guyana was like Uganda, the weather was the same. The only difference is that they were 1 feet below sea level. So their ground was soft. So our first training was at Providence. So when we went into Providence, it was tough for us because we were used to the hard ground of Lugogo. So when we stepped in the ground, it was soft. It was a beautiful place. I've never seen a world-class facility like this. But the unfortunate part is we went at a time when there were no funds, so we had to bubble up. And so eating was limited, connection was limited. Though I came into contact with my fellow coaches, like the Indian head coach. I met VVS Laxman. I met some West Indian former fast bowlers. I met Catley Ambrose.
And I believe those are some of the guys you really wanted to see.
Yeah, we used to meet them in breakfast. And so we used to meet them. I remember there was Refa, the West Indian head coach, his assistant, Catley Ambrose. I remember the Indian coaches. I remember the Irish coaches, the Scottish coaches. We got to meet. And, we exchanged contacts. We had a good time in Guyana. When we came into Trinidad, it was a whole new experience because Guyana was a different experience. Guyana being a poor country, poorer than Uganda, we found a little bit of uncomfortability. And we spent there like 15 days. The other 15 days were good because going into Trinidad, Trinidad was a bit more advanced. Trinidad was much better. Everything that we wanted was to the dot. Though we were not allowed to go out even to the beaches, we were not allowed to go out, meet people. Everything that we wanted was to the dot. And the other thing I would say, maybe the food was expensive. And the language, because you're speaking in English, And
they respond in Patois.
yes, I remember. I remember the liaison. The liaison, the first day he spoke.
Yeah.
I had to tell him. I think you might swear, you might disturb the boys a little bit.
Yeah.
Understanding the language.
Yeah.
Patois is a beautiful language. Trust me, guys.
Okay.
I've had musicians trying to fake it.
Yeah.
But trust me, those guys in West Indies, it's natural in them.
Yeah.
And people in Trinidad, they speak differently from people in Guyana, people in Jamaica. People in Trinidad speak like as though they are singing a song. So if you are not careful, their tone is like as though they are singing a song.
Yeah.
So you might take them lightly. So the liaison used to speak like as though he's singing. So I had to ask him to speak slowly, and I had to involve him to explain to him about Uganda. So
are there any Patois words you learned that you can recall? Yeah, give it us.
Quite a lot. Quite a lot.
Yeah. Give us something. Give us something. Give us something. I really want to.
I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of speaking Patois.
We really want to hear some Patois coming from you. Yes, we need something about that.
I remember the first time.
Yeah.
I was asked by one of the West Indian players. I took a photograph with the West Indian captain.
Yeah.
He wanted to take a photograph with me. He said, "Hey, man from Africa, why you say?" So I was like.
So what was your response on?
I just looked at him and said, nothing. nothing.
Yeah.
He said, which country do you come from? And I told him, Uganda. And I forgot one thing.
Yeah.
When we played Ireland, I think the first World Cup game, there was a moment when Miyagi was hitting the sixes, and the 3 sixes he hit.
Yes.
When he hit a six, the West Indians were virtually supporting us as black brothers. Not that we were from West Indies. We became a song. They said, "Our brothers from Uganda, our brothers from Uganda."
Oh,
so we received a lot of love.
brothers.
Yeah,
Okay.
One of them asked me for my shirt. I think I left 2 shirts in West Indies that I used in Rwanda. The one I used in Rwanda, and then one I used, it was a traveling shirt. So I gave them as a memory.
Yes.
I think until today we still talk. We do talk.
Okay.
We do talk. Video calls.
Yeah.
And they miss us. So they ask us when we'll ever get time to come to visit personally West Indies.
Yes.
Yeah. So to me, West Indies was a whole life-changing experience. Not that it's developed, no.
Yeah.
It's basically the mindset of the players.
Yes.
The challenges. I remember when we were hit 400 by India.
Yeah.
Trust me, it was a whole new experience to the Ugandan bowlers.
Tell us about that.
Well, we started well. The Indians had some information on us. They knew we were a very good fielding team because the Sri Lankans had told them.
Yeah.
We played Sri Lanka in the first warm-up match in Guyana. And they told them, the guys you're going to play are good at bowling and fielding. And their batting may not be that good, but trust me, they have batsmen who can stay long on that weekend and they can hit.
Yes.
So they might make an all-rounding side, they might challenge you. So we gave challenges to Ireland and South Africa. We just gave away the game. I think in South Africa we gave away the game. We dropped Brevis, who happened to be the batsman of the tournament. We dropped him at 0, dropped him at 5. I think we dropped him 5 times.
I think that is where it brings that always catches win the game.
Yeah, so it was a learning curve for the boys to learn how to use the opportunity that they have. Because if you don't use the opportunity that you have while up at the stage, you will not play tournaments like IPL, like BBL, and all those franchise tournaments that you would want to play. And all those tournaments that invite monies. So you would not have that exposure if you don't take the opportunity well. You need to take the first opportunity well. That means your national team. Then you get to play the high level cricket that we would play. Had we stayed or had we beaten Ireland and South Africa, we would probably not be in this qualifier that we had gone for in Tanzania. I'm telling you the truth, trust me.
Which did go well in Tanzania, right?
Tanzania was a whole different experience. We had 7 players from the World Cup, that batch that went to West Indies. We didn't make good use of the opportunity. Because I remember we had the best run rate. If we had just beaten all the other teams, trust me, our run rate would go up to 3. We just gave it away.
Yeah.
And I congratulate Namibians because they used that opportunity. They used it well.
Yes.
And I felt we needed to have gone earlier,
Yeah.
which the Namibians did. They went earlier than us.
Yeah.
So them going earlier than we did helped them to have an edge over us. Because once we went remaining with, I think, 1 day in the tournament.
Yes.
So it didn't do us well. So I'm urging the association, if they are watching, to think of preparations and consider preparations. It has been my plea, I think, to them many times. And we need to get there before time so that we can adapt to every weather, the situation, the climate. The boys need to expose themselves to mistakes before the game, not coming when.
So that means we need like early preparation.
Yeah. And to me, many teams have thrived because.
And proper preparation.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Many teams have thrived because these underage teams, it's about preparation. If you don't prepare yourself early and don't prepare yourself well, you can't play up there.
Yeah.
You can't play up there because that preparation behind the scenes, that preparation you come earlier before time, getting to know the weather, getting to mingle up with the people, getting to know what is good, how you play in Uganda matters from when you play in Tanzania.
Okay.
I've had a young man just recently, I think yesterday, he scored 164 runs.
Yes.
In Tanzania, he was not scoring this much. He first had 3 zeros in a row. Yeah. So we first thought maybe this boy did not prepare himself well, or the mindset was not fully prepared.
Okay.
So him showing us that he has bounced back to 164 to me was a big plus for me. If he had just converted that mindset he was here
yes.
to that time, it probably would be heading to Colombo today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, we are still on Words of Hope Square Cut Seats. Those out there, those who have just come and joined us, please subscribe to Words of Hope Square Cut. Comment, share, like Words of Hope Square Cut Seat. So, Coach Robinson, as we continue with our conversation, have there been any other people who have really gotten, all countries gotten in contact with you about wanting you to be one of their like coaches after that experience you had in the World Cup? Because I assume that the truth is that you were watched. The entire world watched you. You know, who is the coach of Team Uganda, the under 19 boys, under 19 men? So I believe you have had some contact with some other countries, but it's up to you. You may briefly tell us about a few of the counters, just briefly in a little time, and then we go more into your coaching career.
Okay, briefly to tell you, I got many opportunities from academies especially. One I got in West Indies was the University of West Indies.
Okay.
I was given the opportunity, and they told me if it was not for COVID, they had wanted me to stay behind and work with their youngsters at the university to give them that psych in bowling and fielding and a little of the batting, because when they used to watch my boys doing training at the ground training and the cohesion that we had, their coaches were like, looks like you know what you're doing, and from what we have seen on your social media, looks like you are good at what you do. So the other one was from India. I got them from India. I got 5 academies. And then also from Nepal, I also got 3 academies. And even from Kenya itself, my former club that I was in, Ruaraka, they expressed interest. So they had asked me to come back. But other than that, the others I got from Nigeria, under 19. They had wanted me to help them during that time.
Yes.
because I'd spoken with their manager, who's a close friend of mine, Joseph Oche. So he had been tracking me for some time, so he asked me to come and impart that expertise for the youngsters in Nigeria. So yeah, that's it.
Because I believe of late we have been seeing, before returning to the under 19 sector, we have been seeing you traveling as a coach to different countries. What are some of those countries you've been going to? And because you tell us there's contracts you're signing,
Well,
Yeah.
I believe God always gives people from glory.
Yeah.
And I thank God for that grace. But also there's an element of hard work. I thank God Ebenezer this far has taken it. My first and most important coaching stint was in Ruaraka. Ruaraka is a big club in Kenya. It has its history. It has trained some of the greatest players in Kenya, including Steve Tikolo, Thomas Odoyo, Kennedy Otieno, David Obuya. The name goes on and on, the list goes on. So being a part of the success, I did not know that I'd made history as the first Ugandan coach to coach on the soil of Kenya. I was welcomed by my fellow Kenyan friends that I played with the under 19 and also had become coaches, like Jimmy Kamande. And,
I know you with Jimmy Kamande, your friends,
Yeah, we've been friends for the last 25 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and some like Asiji, Alolo.
Yeah.
Those are guys I caught up with because it was like catching up.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was in Ruaraka, I enjoyed my time because I had to work with 3 levels of teams because my work was to build an academy inside the team.
Yeah.
So I worked with under 15. Then till today they remain the under 15 champions. And under 19, they were by that time the under 19 champions. So we had a rank and we had a group of 100 people. 100 players. We had a bus that used to go and pick them in shifts. So we know that under 19 is this day and this time, and under 15 is this day and this time. So basically we had everything on the table. So I finished my 1 year in Ruaraka. However, while in Ruaraka, I got a chance from an Indian academy that came then, and also a Nepalese academy that came, being the best academies from those 2 countries. They contested to come and have my signature. Though I went with Nepal, reason being that I'd been to India before, so I wanted to try out a country that was new to me. So I went and talked to God. I prayed about it. I involved my wife. And we talked about it. We had some good time of fasting and prayer. And the Lord fell on Nepal. So early January, when the year was beginning, I had to leave Uganda. That story I will mention in a while. I had a very interesting experience, and I don't want any African coach to have that kind of experience. From Nepal, I went to India because the Indians heard of my great work in Nepal, so I was encountered in the city of Ahmedabad with a number of academies coming to me. Then I was taken to Rajkot, where I met state coaches. I met the uncle of Cheteshwar Pujara, and I met the coach of Ravindra Jadeja, Mahendra Singh. I got to meet them, and they said, how can African come into Indian coach? What do you have that is so unique on you? So they gave me a chance to work with the state under 16. For a short time, I was there for about 3 weeks. I worked with them, and they liked the work I did. But because COVID came in, the president gave an order: if we are not back within 5 days, we have to leave the country. So the embassy alerted us. They said anyone who has no money should ask for money. But by good enough, I had already booked my flight for Emirates. Someone had already sponsored me. Mr. Gary Kapati, if you're listening in, thank you for your money that you paid. Emirates.
Yeah.
Emirates is one of the best flights that one would ever sit on. I think it's one of the best flights.
Yeah.
So I came back home for the lockdown, the first lockdowns. But then on, I lost my dad.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
I think during the second lockdown, we had to go and bury him. And that's when I got an appointment from Ondeko Martin, who was the CEO.
Yes.
Who kindly asked me, along with Lawrence Mahalatme, they asked me to come and coach under 19. They asked me for the ideas I got in India to be implemented into Uganda. And I was glad. Said, okay, since it's a national assignment, let me take the challenge. So I was given a 3-month contract, and I proved worth it. So from then on, even when I finished the World Cup, I went back to Asia.
Okay.
Yeah. So when I'm not here, I'm always called back.
In Asia.
In Asia. So
it's like your third home. After yeah. After Kenya, then Asia, the Asian country.
Well, you would say so, because I had to be forced to learn the languages. I'll speak about Nepal shortly.
Yeah.
Yes, it was my most challenging moment.
Yeah.
And I think it was, again, the most heartbreaking moment when I was telling them I'm not going to come back in a long time. I think all the Nepalese watching, they know.
Yeah.
I left a hole in many of their hearts.
I know.
So I know.
So, ladies and gentlemen, just keep watching Words of Hope Square Cut. Sit, subscribe, comment, like, and feel free to share. Feel free to share. Yes, Coach Robinson, let's go ahead. Let's continue with about the topic about the issue of Nepal. Because I assume you must have spent there a long time.
Yeah, 9 months.
9 months. Can you imagine how did it feel being away from your family? And most especially, you love your wife, Jane. So I'm imagining how you felt being away from home for all that, you know?
Honestly speaking, if you're a man and you're married, you will know what issue I was going through at that time.
Yeah.
You've left your wife. My daughter was 3 years old when I left in 2019. When I left, we went through a lot with my wife at that time. Shone Guru can attest for us. It was a hard time in our marriage, not having the financial breakthrough we needed. And then I told her, this is the moment. It's the opportunity. God has opened the door. Let me go and make money. So I thought, like Kenya or like any other country, people would speak English, then you adjust to the local language slowly. Yes. I'd been given a little bit of tips that Nepalese speak Hindi. I speak a little Hindi. So I'll flow with little Hindi just to keep you sustaining.
So could you bring the viewers in Hindi?
आप से मैं कर खुश हुई आप कैसे हो?
Okay, all right. Then,
so it was tough for me. I remember I took a 25 hours flight to reach Nepal.
Wow. 25 hours flight.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Baraj Sahi Kumar, I think you're watching me. It was a hard time. We organized this thing. It was abrupt. I was actually coming from training one of my clients here. Abdul Wahab Nyanze, I think you're also watching. Yeah, it was. We were in his office actually when the invitation and the air ticket came.
Yeah.
It was a Wednesday, and I was to leave on Tuesday. So my wife was taken also by surprise. So we discussed a lot of things. I told her I will be coming after 6 months.
I know, I believe that.
And I tried to convince her I will not see anyone else.
And did you keep to that promise?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
Though, of course, as a man, you will meet the challenges.
Temptations were there.
Definitely. I'm not going to say I'm not the best looking in this world, but trust me, I made my fair shares of challenges.
Okay.
When I left here, I left Uganda at 8:30 a.m., 12 p.m. at night aboard Kenya Airways. So when I was given the flight, I flew into Nairobi. I was very excited going into Nepal. I was little aware of knowing what's going to happen to me on the other side. So when I landed at Jomo Kenyatta Airport, my mom and my sister called me to say farewell. And they told me, I hope they don't take your kidneys. Because of course there are some rumors that people take kidneys in Asia and sell them out. I sat down. Yes, I was nervous, excited for the opportunity. I'd never, and they told me you were going to be the first African coach to come here of cricket into Asia. So it's going to be tough for you. So you're opening the doors for the rest. So you're going to meet a little bit of challenge, but we are going to cover that up. I took a 6 hours flight to Oman, Muscat. When I reached Muscat, I tried to link up with my brothers in the transit from Sudan, others from Kenya. I met my brothers from Uganda. I was there for about 8 hours, 30 minutes. From about 6:30 to about 3 o'clock. So the flight for Nepal was ready. Now this is when I felt entering the gate that is taking you from Muscat, entering the check-in to go to Kathmandu. This is where the hardship came. To me, I'll tell you, it's hard for us. It's hard for us as Africans. You're going into a country and everyone is saying, you're going to Nepal. And everyone was giving me this awkward look. So I was saying, okay, so this needs prayer. So I went in quite. So I met a Nepali woman who was checking us in. And she asked me, you're going to Kathmandu? I said, yes. Are you not sure that you're in the wrong place? Because I don't think you're meant to go to Kathmandu. Maybe you're mistaken. So I pulled out all my credentials, the invitation, and all the documents. And I was told, this is it. I'm going. So she checked in and said, okay, I can see your ticket, boarding flight. Then she spoke in Nepali together and said, looks like we have a new guest. So treat him well. Getting into the flight, even the air hostesses caught my attention because being the only African in the flight made me so nervous. So I said maybe taking some sleep would kill it off. So I slept, and I only woke up when the flight pilot was saying that we are entering Kathmandu. So I'd heard of Kathmandu many times. Now I was entering into the city for myself. I had only a small sleeveless sweater for the national team, and my shirt, my long sleeve black shirt, and I was feeling hot in the plane. So when I got out, this is now the reality that I felt. I got out, and here it was 26 degrees Celsius when we left. It was hot. The other side when we reached, it was 5 degrees Celsius.
5 degrees Celsius.
Yes, it was. So it was extremely cold. Someone had told me to carry gloves. I had bought gloves from Owino. Small gloves. This one would. The wind passed right through my gloves. That wind was so strong. So I had to go in. Then there was one Mzungu who told me, welcome to the world. Here, you're in trouble. So I was the last guy in the immigration line. So when I assembled just to meet the guy that was going to give me the visa, he called all the other immigration officials, and he was saying, meet, he was saying in Nepali, meet Kaledai.
What does Kaledai mean?
Nepali is not what I mean by saying Kaledai. Kale in Nepali means someone who's dark-skinned, who's African. So basically, you in your dark skin, you're called Kale. Gore is someone who's light-skinned. Yeah, so Dai is a title to say, like you're an elder brother, or you given respect. So they looked at me like for about 2 minutes. So I told them, I think I'm in the wrong place. Maybe I should meet the departure. They said, no. So they got my passport and punched it. So I was taken, checked, and checked in.
Yeah.
So I knew definitely there was nobody that was going to even be interested in me anyway. So you know, like you get into the arrivals, everyone is on his own. When I reached there, I found about 50 people clapping were ready to receive me. And I told these guys, I think I'm in the wrong place. Just take me back.
You, the Kali.
Take me back. Take me back.
Yeah.
And it scared me for the first time. And I was being taking selfies. People are taking selfies of me. And in Uganda, I'd never had this moment. In Kenya, I'd had little moments of this. But I was seeing this now live.
So it's like there you were a celebrity.
Well, I wouldn't say that. So I was rushed into a car, driven, and reached home. So I reached home. I left at 8:30 p.m. and I reached the next day at 9:30 p.m. So it was 25 hours.
Wow. So that's a full day.
So
plus an hour.
Unlike Africa, where coaches are given a simple room with chairs and they tell you this is your home. When I reached Nepal, I was given a whole house to myself.
To yourself.
A bedroom, kitchen,
like a bungalow.
dining. Yes, an apartment.
An apartment, okay.
Yeah, so I was treated to that. So they left me, they locked the doors.
Yeah.
Now I was all alone. The Wi-Fi was there, they gave me the password. So I said, no, before I access my Wi-Fi password, I don't know. They told me you are 2 hours and 45 minutes ahead. So in your time, I thought it was 7:45. That time I thought it was 10 o'clock, and then it was 7:15 Ugandan time. So I thought, yeah, madam is on, she's at home. So I said, let me take a bath. So I went into put my bathing sponge, everything. And I took off my clothes to take the bath. The water was ice cold. So I ran out of the bathroom because of the weather. I ran out. I was taken. In Africa here we eat food without pepper, most of us.
I'm imagining how you ran out of
Don't put it in your thoughts.
Okay, all right.
So
what?
The weather went down up to 2 degrees Celsius at 2 a.m.
Okay.
And unlike Uganda, people sleep with windows closed. In Nepal, people leave windows open. So they told me leave the windows open. So you would hear basically like as though someone is talking through the street. The wind would make some noise like as though someone is whistling or someone is blowing.
Okay.
Blowing through. So, and Nepal is not like Uganda. Nepal by 10:30 everybody is inside. So after 10:30, the arresting officials, the policemen and the soldiers, they will take you to be a criminal.
Okay.
And
It was
you'll be
like a
apprehended.
coffee after 10:30.
Yeah, it's a curfew.
Okay.
And then they have that natural curfew. So people are used to that curfew. So you don't need to tell them to get in by 10:30. It's it. Unless there is a festival.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Unlike other countries, I had forgotten also. Nepal has the highest number of festivals in the year.
Say it again.
Nepal is the country which has the highest number of festivals in a year.
Could you be knowing like some of the festivals like they have in the year?
There are many.
Just a few. You don't need to give us like just a few, like a fingertips, nothing.
There is
What they're about.
Dasein. There is Dasein. They're most important, most famous and most important.
Dasein.
Dasein is the festival of meat, goat meat. People eat goat meat, chicken, meat,
Anything related to meat.
except beef.
Okay.
So the cow there is their god.
Okay.
So
goat, sheep.
they even eat buffalo meat.
Oh.
You'll be very shocked.
Okay.
So, I never saw pork so much. I saw pork in a certain particular place. Because for me, I eat pork. I'll not lie to you, gentlemen and ladies, I eat pork. So I looked for a pork place and I found one very far away from home. And you couldn't go there. So that was a challenge of its own.
Yeah.
So I had chicken twice a week. There's another one called Teach. Teach is a festival for the married women to go and pray for their husbands. Okay. Married women go and get anything that is a household item, pray for their husband's household items for protection of their husband, well wishing. They have another one called Holi for colors, same like India. They have Tihar. Tihar is also another festival. They also celebrate Christmas.
Oh.
Yes, they do. They are Christians.
Nepalese, are they mostly Muslims, Christians, or like what is the biggest sector there, like religious sector there?
Nepali are normally Buddhists and Hindus.
Oh, Buddhist and Hindus.
They have Gautam Buddha, the founder of Buddhism.
Okay.
And they have Krishna. Other religions, Muslim is about 2% or 3% of the population. So when you get a Muslim, it's very rare, and those Muslims normally involve themselves in textile making. They make suits and all other kind of ornaments, like clothing. So the born again Christians like me, that was tough for us because in Uganda here we have open evangelism. People preach on crusades and what. In Nepal it was banned, totally banned.
Did you ever find a church in Nepal?
Yes, I did, and it took me 2 to 3 months. I remember my boss telling me, you don't need to go to church. So I used to pray from home. So until one day I prayed and asked God for direction. I went onto Google and I realized there was a church 700 meters from me. And the founding pastor of that church was an American man from Baltimore. So that's how I got to meet him. And when I went there again, I caused havoc. I was the only black in church. Let alone that, I did not tell you guys, in the stronghold where I was, in a radius of 15 kilometers, to the north, south, east, west, I was the only African. So I took 4 months to see an African. 4 months.
Was
to meet
that
an
African or it was just a black person?
A real African.
Okay.
And the African I found was a Kenyan football coach. And when I found him, because I can speak Kiswahili, he was a man from Kisumu called Ogola Bobby. Ogola, I know you'll be watching this. He became a brother to me. He's the one who introduced me to the other side of Nepal that I didn't know. So by then, I could speak English to a few people. The boss's daughter. Actually, both daughters of the boss and the son, they were the ones who were speaking English. And maybe the school that employed me, the school, Nexus International School, they could speak English. The coaches I worked with, yes, there was one who stayed in Australia, Sasi Keshari. I know you're going to watch this. Buddy, he would speak good English. He stayed in Australia for 4.5 years. So he knew English. So I worked with a gentleman we used to call Ferry Sanche Unosa. Ferry Aramonuncha. He's called Dinesh Agri. We used to call him Ferry. He stayed in my house for 1.5 months. Prakash Bacha, also a fellow coach like me. English was a problem to him, so I had to learn Nepali. The hard way. Yes, I had to learn Nepali.
To communicate with him.
Yes, to communicate with the conductor. Because I used to move with bus many times. To communicate at the market, when you would go alone, you want to eat food. When you need to go to the field on your own, asking for direction. Like when you go to the shop, you say Isco price catio. How much is that? So these things I had to learn.
I can't even recall what you're saying.
Urmira Podel, she was the one who taught me Nepali. Many thanks to you. I sat with her. She made life very easy for me. The Siwakotis, you know, the family of the Tapas, Suman Tapa and your wife. Thank you so much. There are many I could thank. The Shahis, thank you.
Was there a moment when you felt unwell, like sick, when you were in Nepal?
Yes, I felt sick. before coming to Uganda. Actually, I lost weight. I lost a lot of weight. I had come from the World Cup when I was about 85 kilos. I was very healthy because of eating KFC. KFC in West Indies did a lot to me. In the month of October, I still recall, because I got an engagement from India. I got a state franchise club. I was going to coach with Sanat Surya. He was going to be my assistant. So they had called me for the franchise and I was going to work with him. So during that time, I fell sick of a disease that is not in Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, it's called dengue fever.
Dengue fever.
Dengue
fever. What causes what? Dengue.
Dengue is like malaria, like yellow fever. But it has basically no medicine. There was no vaccine for it. So it was like an epidemic, like Ebola. It comes, attacks. It comes and attacks you for 4 days, then it leaves your body. Yeah, so when I got
now you become immune to it.
You become immune. The next time, you become immune. So when I fell sick, I felt my life was being sucked out completely. I could not eat, sucked my appetite, it sucked everything about me, my breath. It circulated and attacked my breath. I could not breathe, my lungs couldn't function properly for 4 days. So it took me 7 extra days before I left the country to recover. I had to come actually. I had to extend my ticket for that reason.
Actually, when you talked about feeling unwell and it has clicked my mind and brought me some memory I had when I was sick in my house. I remember me not having that appetite. I actually felt so cold and I covered myself. Whereby whenever I would get up and then step down, I would feel like, phones I'm being pricked down there. Until I just said, I just thought of a friend of mine, and I know you know the guy.
Yes.
I phoned him, asking just for something, a favor from him.
Yes.
And that is, I know Arthur Chagaba, you're watching, so he's the guy who helped me out. And trust me, from that time, I was not the same. You get it? He helped me out, and I became better. So I really thank you very much, Arthur Chagaba. Thumbs up. Yeah, it clicked my mind when he talked about losing appetite. Then I remember that time when I was unwell, and then you came in and stepped in there for me, and I really appreciate that. Arthur Chagaba, thank you very much. So Robinson, there's something I would really like us to talk about. So before we talk about that, ladies and gentlemen out there, I would like you to stay, as you are on Words of Pop Square Cut, I would like you to comment, share, like, subscribe to Words of Pop Square Cut. This is where you will be able to get all kinds of all different information from different personalities. You'll be able to get inspiring information. You'll be able to get uplifting messages. So right about now, I'm still with Coach Robinson. Coach Robinson, I would like to ask you something that if you weren't playing cricket or coaching cricket, what sport would you get involved with? Would you be right now involved with?
Well, my life was full of sports.
Yeah.
I played some table tennis. I played some little badminton. But I was more of an athlete and a basketballer.
Because a young child out there would like really to see, to know that in case you were not in cricket, that you would have played such and such a sport, and then
Yeah, having played basketball, having been an athlete, it helped me to bring the best out of me when I started playing cricket, because these are fast games. Require speed and for a short time. So I was a 400-meter post-primary champion of Kampala. And then when I went to Muri, I worked so hard. I had a discipline that I kept every day from class, being a boarding school, I used to ask for permission. I would jog 10 kilometers. So leaving from the Mwiri gate all the way down to Mwiri Primary and back up that hill. Those of you who are in Busoga College Mwiri, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you who are with me, you can remember and attest to this. That used to give my lungs a special resilience. That when I came to play basketball, when I became an athlete, it gave me strength, mental strength to play these games. So if I was not playing cricket, I think I would go for basketball and athletics, because those, to me, they took me to the next level. I played with the likes of Stephen Omony, Norman Blake, Donald Blake. Yeah. So those were our playing group, the age mates that we used to play with.
So when you used to play cricket for Mwiri, like you would come for cricket week, what are those schools or a school that whenever you would encounter that school during the cricket week, it will be a do or die?
Now,
during school's cricket week,
I remember we got resilience from King's College Budo when we went to visit Budo.
Yeah.
It was a friendly.
Yeah.
In my entire time, by the way, in my entire playing time, from the time I started playing for Mwiri cricket, in our time, still like when I finished Mwiri, senior 6, 1998, from 93, from 95, 98, we had never lost a single game, be it a friendly, cricket week, any tournament. We had never lost a single game. So that time we were humiliated. So 64 all out.
Was that in King's College Budo?
Yes.
Okay.
On the Budo ground.
Okay.
So we were humiliated. We had to salvage our name. So we played so hard and took the team half the score all out. So yes, they were excited that they took us 32 all out. But I was disappointed because it was not our standard. We went way below the standard. So to me, I felt it was a challenge. So from that time onwards, I felt we needed to push on and work harder.
And who are those players like in the Budo team whom you look out for and say, really,
we had a
these are
boy
people give us a hand?
Jumba.
Oh, Jumba? Jumba Adam.
Adam. There's another guy called Wabiona.
Yeah.
There's another guy, the Chiwakamas.
Yeah.
They had a good team. They had assembled a very good team. Kunahasa Emmanuel.
Yeah.
So I still recall Tendo was ahead, not much ahead.
Yeah.
There were guys who were there. What was his name? What's his name again?
Was Kafuko on that team?
Kafuko was, yes, on that team, Hillary.
Yeah.
There was this gentleman whose father died recently, was a former cricketer. Father went to the US, came back. Yeah, so that time was hard for us. We went back to Mwiri, a long distance.
Organized yourselves?
We had to organize, and we were coming for cricket week. So we had to organize. When we met them this time, we had to do justice. Justice served. So, however, when I left Mwiri for the first time, we were beaten in 2000 when we left the Kamiokas and the years. So I asked us, how did we get beaten? Yet we left a legacy behind.
Okay.
Yeah, so
by again Budo?
Yes, by Okia, Richard and group.
That was 2001.
Yeah,
2000, and I was on that team.
Yes, the reporter was on that team. He was on that team.
Whereby, you remember, when we went and read the newspapers like this, they brought out some cartoon whereby we were uprooting Mwiri, like for all those times when they are not losing any game. So we had to uproot them, but that was the final.
It was a big shame.
The vision of that final was so massive. You know, the whole ground was full at capacity. You know, I had never played any sport having that capacity of people. It was so massive. You get it? And when we won that game, I really don't know what happened, but I just found myself on the pitch. I was just among the people carrying Okia, Richard. Then I was a young boy. Because at that time I think I was the youngest player for that tournament. I was the youngest player in 2001. Yes, where I played. I joined the team in my S1. Yes, so that and I really give thanks to Richard Ramafa and then
I'd forgotten about him.
Richard Ramafa.
He happens to be the selector, one of the selectors today.
Okay, and also Eric Kamara.
Yeah, you remember him?
Yeah, Adam Jumba. You know, those are the guys who really influenced. You know, the real. And then there was also a guy called Abu Mayanja. Abu Mayanja. You know, before me joining the cricket in Budo, I was, I was in the basketball coach. So the guy used to come for me with a cricket stamp. I want you to go forward for cricket. So I would always run, go to the pitch, do some bowlings. But still, the next day, I was still at the basketball court. So until I said, but you know what, I'm tired of this being let me just remain on the cricket pitch. So that is how I remain into cricket till now. You get it? But I had gone there with the focus of playing basketball. But I knew the game of cricket because of my brother Ileli. You know, Geoffrey was in Ibeje. So there is a way he used to bring us here and would watch the game. We would watch you guys when you were playing because we were young. Yeah, but all in all, we appreciate your services, Robinson. So it's good to see that you're still in. Because even in by the way, in clubs, what clubs have you coached in cricket here?
I've coached Kampala Pirates.
Yeah.
I've coached Avengers, which is my current team.
Yeah.
Which other team have I coached? Club that I've coached here.
Those the only two?
I think they're the only two. I don't think I've done much.
Okay. Because now what I would like to before I ask you this, ladies and gentlemen watching, I would like you to subscribe to Words of Pop Square Cards, comment, like, and share with everyone. So I would like to ask you that, you know, there is a young man out there, a young girl, you know, who would like to join and become and be like you. What information can you give them about the game of cricket? And what should they expect in the game of cricket? Because I believe they are watching out there.
Well, to all the people that love and are interested in cricket, one thing I will tell you is work hard, trust the process, and talk to God. Because many people have worked hard, but they don't want to trust the process. People want shortcuts.
I would like you to put hope in them. Hope to the young guys.
And even if you've not been selected under 19 level, you can still even play for your national team.
Yeah.
It's possible. Even if you can start right at 20 right now, you can make it. It's just a matter of practicing and praying to God and taking your time off and meditate about the game.
Yeah.
Because when you meditate and visualize yourself as a champion, only then will you work harder to make sure that you're a champion.
Brilliant. So before we wind up, what good message do you have for the viewers out there? The good message you have for the viewers out there who are watching you right now on Words of Pop Square Cut.
Oh, sorry to say this, guys, but this is the truth. Jesus is coming.
Yeah.
This world is coming to an end. And I'm not apologetic to it. Much as we're going to play, every one of us has a career when it comes to an end. One day I'm coaching, tomorrow you'll find me, I'm seated on the side ground as a trustee.
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you this. If you intend to achieve in life, accept Him. Talk to God. He is the solution. He's the Alpha and the Omega of everything.
Yes.
Trust me, He's the solution. I've been to countries like India, where they have 330 million gods. I've been to Nepal, where people worship idols. People worship coaches.
Yeah.
I'm telling you the truth. But if you don't talk to God, He's the center of all blessings. And work harder and respect Respect is one thing that this world, this generation of players don't understand. If a coach is smiling or is happy with you or discussing or making merry with you, it does not mean that you disrespect him. Respect him, because he is the key to your success. God has brought him in for a purpose. There is something he might say, you may take it for granted, but that is the key to your success. I'll give an example. Sachin Tendulkar, all his coaches were valued. And even when he's mentioning in his documentaries or whatever his life story is, he mentions his coaches. They have an impact. You can even vividly remember what they say. Okay? So it's upon you and upon me. As for me as a coach, I respect players. That's why my players are good. I respect players, because the player who comes before you is a marketing tool to the next level. I'm currently a member of a group called Academy of the World Coaches.
Wow.
So these are coaches from all over the world, 44 of them. So being introduced to some of these best 44 has even made me a better human being, because if I want to leave Uganda like today, I have friendship I've built with them, and I've worked on it on merit. So don't try to use shortcuts. Don't try to use shortcuts. Be honest, be hardworking, and have hope. Like this YouTube channel says, word of hope. Have hope. There might be darkness today, but there will be hope tomorrow. Thank you.
Wow. So, Robinson, any word you can, any closing mark or any remarks you want to give to your family?
My family, I love you, and you know that.
That's all?
Yes.
All right, Coach Robinson, we really thank you very much.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah, thank you very much for for allowing to be hosted in this, and we really appreciate. We shall still be working together.
Indeed.
All right. So, viewers out there watching Words of Hope, Square Cut Seat, we really thank you very much for taking time to watch us. Those out there, I would like you to subscribe, like, share, and comment. Thank you very much. We shall be back. I salute you. I'm out of here.
Disclaimer. The views expressed on this channel are solely of the individual providing them and do not represent or reflect the official policy or position of this channel or its management.